Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Elston. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. Speaking to members of the International Catholic Legislators Network during their 9th annual conference, Pope Francis told them that their position as Christians with authoritative roles is to spread laws based on the teachings of the Church in order to aid Christians and other religious minorities who are being persecuted worldwide. Rome Report says more on the meeting from the Vatican.
Pope Francis met with members of the International Catholic Legislators Network who are in Rome for their annual conference. The ICLN is composed of elected officials in national and international governments worldwide. Thus, the Pope warned of two developments occurring in many of their countries and urged them to combat them with caution.
Il relativismo secolarista e il radicalismo religioso, in realtà pseudo-religioso. A questo proposito mi limito a segnalare alla vostra attenzione il pericolo reale di combattere l'estremismo e l'intolleranza con altrettanto estremismo e intolleranza, anche negli atteggiamenti e nelle parole.
The ICLN president presented an image of the Holy Family that members will place in their parliaments to inspire debates and legislation. The International Catholic Legislators Network is an independent initiative founded in 2010 to join Christians in elected office for faith formation and fellowship.
In news from around the world, in an open letter to Pope Francis, Bishop Philip Egan of Portsmouth, England, said an extraordinary synod on the life and ministry of the clergy would help to combat the scourge of clerical child sex abuse. Bishop Egan told the Pope his letter was prompted by the terrible abuse of minors by clergy documented by the Pennsylvania grand jury report. He said scandals in the United States, England, Ireland, Australia, and Chile have proven that sex abuse by members of the clergy is a worldwide phenomenon in the Church that must be addressed. Bishop Egan said the synod might begin with a congress attended by the bishops but formed of laity and other experts in the clergy abuse scandals and in the safeguarding of children and the vulnerable. The conclusions of the Congress, he added, could then be taken forward into a synod of bishops proper. The bishop suggested the synod be devoted to the identity of being a priest and bishop, to devising guidance on lifestyle and support for celibacy, to proposing a rule of life for priests and bishops, and to establishing appropriate forms of priestly and episcopal accountability and supervision. More news from around the world. The World Meeting of Families is well underway in Dublin, Ireland, with many panel and keynote addresses taking place throughout the course of the week. Along with the presentations and conferences, the World Meeting of Families has launched a series of animated shorts that give tips on living family life.
As part of the material for World Meeting of Families in Dublin, the organization has launched a series of fun cartoons on tips for daily problems of family life, such as how to forgive, be patient, and deal with the digital age.
We can then see that our love, even in its limitations and imperfections, is still a source of joy for the world today.
Most of the messages are part of Pope Francis' letter Amoris Laetitia on the joy of love that is being studied at World Meeting of Families in Dublin.
And no matter how much we try to help them to change, they remain stubbornly, imperfect. Pope Francis reminds us that in order to discover the joy of love, we should try to see each person as an unfinished product, needing to grow.
The 6 video series are very brief and easy to see on television and mobile devices. These animations are available in English, Italian, Spanish, and French and can be downloaded from the website amoris.ie. Amoris animations were prepared by Ministory, a digital storytelling agency based in United Kingdom.
Pope Francis is in Ireland Saturday and Sunday to conclude the World Meeting of Families. During this short 2-day visit, the Pope meets with Irish officials, visits the Cathedral of Dublin, meets with victims of sexual abuse as well as homeless families. The Pope attends the Grand Vigil Saturday evening and then on Sunday visits the Shrine of Knock and concludes the World Meeting of Families with Mass at Phoenix Park in Dublin. And finally in the news, the annual Diocesan Pro-Life Leadership Conference took place recently in Phoenix, Arizona. The theme of the conference was Missionary Disciples Building a Culture of Life, which pointed to the reality of each person being created in the image and likeness of God, and that in baptism, each Christian is called to be both a missionary and a disciple. Among the topics discussed were the reinstatement of the death penalty in some states, abortion, physician-assisted suicide, contraception, and pornography, with the entire undertaking seen through a spiritual lens. The conference opened with a mass celebrated by Phoenix Bishop Thomas Olmsted, who said in his homily that the 50th anniversary of Blessed Paul VI's encyclical Humanae Vitae could be seen as a mustard seed that Jesus is planting afresh for this present generation, so that the truth about human life could be planted in the cultural soil of our time. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.